Misses. No. Going up top for the moonsault. Whoa, man!
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. Professional wrestling, being the choreographed sport it is, requires two to tango. While guys like Shawn Michaels may have been able to work a broom into a 3-star match, unfortunately we are not that lucky. I mean, ladders win championships over in DDT, but come on, does that company even count for anything? I'm D Wicket, and these are the 10 wrestlers who saved each other in matches. Number 10, Fandango. Cody Rhodes is probably in the top 5 wrestlers of 2018, which has to make it weird to think that Fandango was the one saving him during this 5-year-old match off Monday Night Raw. While he's certainly agile, Cody has never been known as a primarily high-flying wrestler. That being said, when he does bust out something like a big splash, it's usually a good sight to see, but unfortunately for Rhodes, this was not the case during his match with the former Johnny Curtis, as his moonsault came up way too short and he was just about to land on his goddamn forehead. Dango quite literally had to dive in his way just to ensure no casualties were suffered that night. He really is a policeman, I suppose.
And Cody's now going up top for the moonsault. Whoa, man! What is wrong with Cody Rhodes? I think he's hurt.
Number 9, John Cena. John Cena is known for a lot of things, like a stupid lot of things, but one of them is a constant usage of new moves. It seems like every year he has some new trick up his sleeve for the big matches, all the way since pulling out the pile driver against CM Punk in 2011 to debuting the new 6 move of doom this year. In 2013, Cena had to pull out all of the stops to try taking down Daniel Bryan, and showed off a new stop by reversing a Hurricanrana attempt off the top rope and trying to turn it into a Boston Crab. Okay, that's a lot. Here's the issue, though. You can't do a Boston Crab on the turnbuckle properly since, you know, it's a turnbuckle. So he had to make his way down to the mat with Bryan still hung up on his shoulders, like in the near Boston Crab position. It was a mess. Because of this and some slight slippage from Long John Cena, we nearly watched Daniel Bryan's career come to an end for the 3rd time. But the first, yeah. Number 8, Roman Reigns. Remember in 2015 when Seth Rollins went for a sunset powerbomb off the turnbuckle and shattered his knee on the way down against Kane? Of course you do, because it was fucking awful. And so does Roman Reigns, Shield brother and longtime running mate of Rollins. Because of this, Reigns surely knows about any fears Seth might have had about rehashing the move, as simple as it might be, and tried to help his buddy out. Instead of making Seth jump all the way over Roman, the big dog grabbed onto him on his way down and kind of like slowly made him inch his way to the ground. It looked a little weird, but I'd rather take a weird 3-second spot than another 9 months without Seth Rollins. Number 7, Chris Jericho is the greatest wrestler of all time. It's true. Oh, it is damn true. Y2 Jericho proves this once again, like he always does, by having probably the 2nd slickest save on this list. It's really simple, actually. During a SmackDown match against Jeff Hardy, while the charismatic Enigma was going for his whisper in the wind as he started to slip off the top ropes, Jericho, being the slick bastard that he is, casually hops in, just kind of taps him on the back to prevent Hardy from dropping back onto his neck. It looked really good, and Jericho is the greatest wrestler of all time. Fight me.
Lessens the champion's chances of keeping the title. And I know how to beat Hardy. Hard wrist. Hardy, get ready to take a chance. Man, that could have been a...
Number 6, Seth Rollins. Every entry on this list sees a wrestler heroically or borderline comically coming to the aid of their fellow wrestler in times of need. All, of course, except for one, as Seth Rollins actually just ended up saving himself. On his way into Hell in a Cell, Seth got a little bit caught up trying to enter the ring, and then somewhat out of nowhere, you see him just duck away and scamper off. Like, what the hell? Why is it? Oh, holy shit, a spike is about to impale him. Yeah, that's right. Upon closer inspection, you can clearly see one of those rods that they used to hold Hell in a Cell down was just about to stab Rollins in the back like it was Seth himself swinging a chair into the back of Ambrose. I'm still not over it. Number 5, Baron Corbin. Taking a look through the list of names so far, Seth Rollins, John Cena, Chris Jericho, you may notice a trend that in-ring veterans and workhorses typically know how to handle these situations. That being said, massive props to Baron Corbin on this one when he quite literally catches Dolph Ziggler mid-air trip off the steel steps and managed to properly turn it into a deep six. Like, it was impressively good. Taking place during the 2017 Money in the Bank men's ladder match, this spot almost makes up for Corbin eventually winning the briefcase and then almost immediately losing the briefcase in idiotic fashion.
Cena, wait, cover! Cover by Mahal!
Number 4, The Undertaker. Alright, good. Back to people who fucking make sense. And for this one, we have a SmackDown brawl. Hooray! Who doesn't love it when the blue brand goes all out and just sends everyone into the ring to die? Well, the two men standing during this brawl ended up being Kurt Angle and the Big Show. And you know what happens when it's one guy left with the Big Show? Somehow, he always loses. Always. Big Show has never won a one-on-one anything. Just as Kurt Angle was setting up for the Angle Slam, Taker's foot can be seen kicking a steel chair slowly out of the way so that Big Show didn't end up with a goddamn concussion. Number 3, AJ Styles. James Ellsworth, you idiot. The Styles Clash really isn't that complicated of a move to handle. Like, the only rule is that you have to keep your head back. It feels weird, I get it. Like, usually to take moves, you tuck your head. But tucking your head during the Styles Clash means broken neck, you idiot. Luckily, the man doing the move is currently the best professional wrestler alive and knows how to handle the mistakes of others. In almost an instant, you can see the realization that Ellsworth isn't in the proper position and AJ's subtle change of foot placement to ensure his opponent didn't end up dying during their matchup.
Put the finishing touches on James Ellsworth with the Styles Clash. Oh, man. No. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, my God. Goodness.
Number 2, Ryback. When you're as strong as the Ryback, momentum be damned. It doesn't matter how many ridiculous flips and turns you just did in midair, he will somehow manage to catch you. It doesn't matter who you are. Luckily, Kalisto got to learn this firsthand back at their payback match, which ended up being Ryback's last with the WWE. Realizing that Kalisto had zero chance of making it all the way to the big guy and would have surely cracked his skull on the canvas, the outside of the ring, by the way, the hardest part, Ryback threw kayfabe out the window and straight up cradled Kalisto on his way to the barricade. What a fucking champ.
Lucha. Oh, Kalisto kommt wieder und fliegt der Hund und trifft Ryback.
Das ist ja...
And number 1, Mr. Perfect. Earlier in the list, I referenced Jericho's save as being the second slickest on this list. As much as I hate to deny Y2J the number 1 spot on any good list, I cannot with an honest heart give him the top spot. Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig fucking deserves this one. Ironically, Chris Jericho ended up being the man that he saved as Jericho went for his second rope moonsault and took off very poorly. Like, Jericho was looking to land directly on top of his head, but Mr. Perfect wasn't gonna let it happen. To stop pretty much all of the momentum, Hennig carefully placed his knee in just the right spot to bring Jericho to a grinding halt while also keeping him as safe as possible. Yeah. Sure, Jericho looks to be slightly pained in the head, but I'm going to go ahead and say that the trade-off was probably worth it.
Tonight, combined with what we're going to see here a little bit later on. And another very important thing. Now, Bret Hitman Hart's on board. Probably.
And Cody's going up top for the moonsault. Whoa, man! Lessens the champion's chances of keeping the title. And I know that would be Hardy. Hard risk. Hardy, get ready to take a chance. Man, that could have been a... Put the finishing touches on James Ellsworth with the Styles Clash. Oh, man.
Lucha. Oh, Kalisto kommt wieder und fliegt der Hund und trifft Ryback.
Das ist ja...
And those are the 10 wrestlers who saved other wrestlers in matches. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below. And be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications to keep up to date with everything Watch WWE, as well as ensure that Seth Rollins never ends up impaled or, who knows, hung off Hell in a Cell like the Big Boss Man was hung. Wrestling is weird.